venture that Shaklee has started us all on. And we can still enroll people to make, our family and our world lose those 40,000 pounds by the end of March this month. And, and it doesn't matter if you enroll somebody this month, today, or next week, they can still work to lose those 10 pounds over the next 3 months. Mm-hmm. And someone had asked if there was a product special this month with 180, and I don't believe there is. I don't know if you gals know.
There's not with Shaklee, but we can create anything we want, anytime we want.
Right.
And I guess we decided to make Shaklee 180 our collection of the month that we wanted to talk about in March, because Joe and I were talking and realized that it's really a remarkable product line. And people, not only do they lose weight, and that's always great, but it's just such a healthy collection of products, and it sets people on a road to healthier habits, because research has shown that meal replacement is the most effective way to lose weight, because you only have to concentrate on one meal and 1 or 2 snacks a day. It just makes it easier for people to get into healthy habits. And
you're not having to count and weigh and measure every.
Oh my gosh, it must be. So exactly right. So it's a wonderful thing, and we can do that ourselves. We can offer somebody free shipping when they order one of the kits. But it's this next part, I think, Joe, that I wanted you to talk about how different it is when we sell a bottle of vitamin C versus selling a 180 kit.
Yeah, and I just wanted to preface it with this. March now is an incredible time to reach out to people about weight loss. I mean, we go on daylight savings, and it comes up this weekend. So it's going to be lighter out longer. People are going to start thinking about spring, shedding their jackets and sweaters and vests and coats and cloth, and wanting to look good. So it's a great time to reach out to people. But Barb, like we were talking, the complexity, I believe, around Shaklee 180 is that when we do get people started on this program, we've got to be committed to walking shoulder to shoulder with them through this whole program, because it's not as simple as getting someone taking a multivitamin where they just unscrew the cap and take out 1 or 2 vitamins and pop them, and that's it. This involves a lot of decisions in terms of the right kinds of foods to add to their diet, what foods to start eliminating. There's a lot of emotion around weight loss. Can even be some serious issues that people have to deal with. So people need our support, probably for some on a daily basis to start with, and then, weekly, and maybe even then going to biweekly. And a lot of people form Facebook support groups. A lot of people have once a month Shaklee 180 check-in calls and things. They do some really creative things that way to help give that support to people.
It's very good, and that's the whole idea of these special support calls Shaklee's doing with Jackie McCoy, and they're really Dr. Jamie on Tuesdays, that they're really doing a lot of that support function for us. But I think this has always been the part of what the Shaklee difference is that every bottle of vitamins that goes out the door, every Shaklee 180 kit that goes out the door, a little piece of us comes with it, and is there to support and encourage and to just help simplify this whole thing. I was doing a 3-way call with a woman this week, and I always say, well, tell me a little bit about your diet, and what do you eat for breakfast? What do you and I go through that, and every time I'd ask her that, she'd say, I have a half a cup.
Half a cup.
Oh yes, and I have 3 ounces of this, and it was like, oh, this woman's been on Weight Watchers. I mean, everything. And I thought, that's hard,
Yeah.
Have to be that. Okay, now Stephanie Bruce just texted me. Steph, you're not coming up, so you're not logged in somehow. So we're not getting your name showing up on our attendee list. So log in again and see if we can see you. Okay.
And she's been on before, so it shouldn't be a real.
Yeah, we're not logged in for some reason. Anyway, good.
Barb,
Go
you
ahead.
made a good point about the support tools that Shaklee is providing for people who are doing, the weight loss, the Shaklee 180, or weight management. We can't just turn them over to these tools. There has to be that personal connection that people have with us. I just think that's really valuable.
Very good, yeah. And Katie, Katie, you're unmuted. Are you not hearing us?
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, good. But we're not seeing Michelle yet, or Stephanie on the. So
I think Michelle was getting the kids all breakfast and stuff, so she'll probably.
Very good. Yeah, bless her. Yeah, you're all going to get to meet Michelle this morning. She's going to be joining us, and then there's Michelle. She's on. Oh, look at her, good girl. Michelle.
Yes, I'm here.
Ah, good morning. You sound good too. All right, so now we just have to find Stephanie. Okay, so everybody just keep watching for her. When you see her show up, Stephanie Bruce. Then we'll unmute her. Joe, go ahead and tell them about the other aspect of this too.
Well, yeah, and I think it's something for us to keep front and center and to focus on, is that not only can we reach out with the products for people for a healthier life, a longer life by helping them lose weight, but we can use Shaklee 180 as a great tool for increasing our volume and building our organization, which will help us to earn points for the Shaklee Live, Cash for Cleveland, so that we can be achieving those sponsoring points to get our share of the money that's going to be given out. It's just a great way, because if you look
which is significant.
Yeah.
The amount of money. I mean, when we get develop 20 sponsoring points in any 1 month between now and the global conference, that's at least one share.
Right.
Last month was $150, but it will always be minimally $100. So, that could pay for our entire trip if we did that every month. So really nice.
If we look at these numbers, Barb, we're not talking, with 180, we can reach out to so many people, and we're not talking numbers in, the hundreds here. We're talking about, 24, 12 people, 6 people, those are very doable numbers for us, and we can earn this. Plus, it's going to help us earn our points for the dream trips coming up. And Lisa, like we were saying, you can't
look at those dream trips,
right? Yeah.
Like, we'll talk about this a little more later, but Katie and Lisa, you want to say anything about that? You are our trip planning department here.
Well, it sure is fun to think about, isn't it? And fun to talk about. My goodness, I love when we get to kind of start to dream about being there and seeing the possibility, right? And so. And what a better time, Joe and I were talking about, to start dreaming about warm weather. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting.
Gary Burke had an email this morning, and he was talking about his sister-in-law was telling Faye that her daughter's son, who's in high school, is taking French and failing it because he didn't care about French. He wasn't studying. He, was, just, lackadaisical in class, didn't participate. And then he found out that those students taking French could go to France, that there was a trip to France if they performed at a certain level in that French class.
It's all about motivation.
Guess what he got in that class? An A.
Nice.
So he went from not caring, not doing anything, not being interested, to being a top achiever in his high school French class because he got inspired. So get inspired.
Well, and here's the point also, that we want and we're going to. Next week, we're going to be talking about tax advantages of home businesses. And then the following week, Lisa, did you see my note about this?
I did.
We're going to talk about the planning sessions. And we realize that these are key in all of our businesses. And in fact, Lisa, I think the first time I began working with you and Mickey, that was one of your strengths, is you you two had really come up with a wonderful system around planning for the year. But in terms of these planning sessions right now, because those trips had just been announced 3 days ago, is I'm in the process now of setting up individual appointments with each of our leaders and helping them create the plan so they know exactly what they need to do to qualify for the trip that they're aiming for.
Yeah.
And it takes a plan, but so there's two, and then starting the following year, trips will be announced in January. And so there will be 2 times of the year when it's really going to be important to do planning and strategy sessions with your group. One will be January, goals for the year, new year, just, all the things that you'd like to work on and aim for. And then again will be August, right after the global conference, when we start, setting our goals for the next year from global conference to global conference. And those are great times when there's a startup times and when we come up with a strategy that gets us there. So there's one thing when you look at these pictures of these beautiful places, I want you to think about you being there, and that Shaklee creates these trips for you.
Yeah.
Not for the masters, not for superstars, and for many years I never looked at them, I never attempted them because I just assumed that those were for other people, but certainly not for little me. And finally, it was like what Joe said. It was Hong Kong. It was like, oh, I really would like to go to Hong Kong. And so I started opening my mind to the fact, and guess what? I went to Hong Kong. So it's just a wonderful time for us to start thinking in terms of possibilities. Okay, Lisa, you want to get us started?
Sure. Well, welcome everyone. We're very excited today for session number 8 of our Legacy and Leadership Spring 2015 training. And today we're going to talk about Facebook events. And I believe we have the experts on. I really do.
We sure do.
Yeah. When you start seeing some of these amazing slides fly by here in a minute, but it's going to be a really good session and very usable stuff. So here's our objectives. We know Facebook and social media have become just a whole entire world of its own, and really a wonderful way to connect and interact and be involved with people that you normally wouldn't. And one of the great ways, and really popular right now, of Facebook is to have a Facebook event or a Facebook party where you can have a really fun, comfortable, safe environment to pass along powerful information. So today you're going to see some of the mechanics, you're going to see some of the brilliant creativity, but most of all you're hopefully going to get a little inspired to take this method and use it yourself and start reaching out to people that you can touch on Facebook and really help see the benefits of what we have to offer with Shaklee. And then, of course, we'll talk about how these things can really be involved in helping us achieve the trips, which are just to die for, kind of awesome. So
very good.
Great day.
So we're going to begin with Michelle Parrott, and who we haven't heard from nearly enough because for 3 years, Michelle, were you on a military base in England? And she is now back in the USA on Ohio soil, and we're so excited. And for now, right. Then she's going to be on Florida soil. But anyway, we're just so glad that she can join us because she's done a lot with Facebook. So, Michelle, thanks for joining us, and maybe preface us a little bit by telling them about how you have used Facebook to grow your business, and then Facebook events in particular.
Sure. Well, good morning, everybody. If you hear my kids, they've all been kind of bugging me this morning. They all are very needy. So I'm like, of course.
And four children over there, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, because I was overseas, Facebook was kind of my gateway into connecting with people with Shaklee. Because most of my friends in England were British, and I can't sell to them, so I had to kind of get creative. And when we first started talking about the Facebook event, I jumped on board right away because I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Like, this is what I'll do because I can't actually connect with a lot of these people since I'm across an ocean. And I think that was when I started the What the Heck is Shaklee event. And it kind of went from there. That one was fantastic.
That was your first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. So you tell somebody that you're going to start a Shaklee business, and then you say, and you're probably wondering, what the heck is Shaklee? Come join me.
Let me share
I
with you.
thought that was brilliant and fun. You know, I love that you brought that element in. Good. Okay.
So, I mean, after that, really, it was just, I tried to think of different events and listening to the training calls. You guys would give us ideas, and I would just go with it. And I honestly built my Shaklee business through Facebook. That first, year and a half. So, yeah, it can be done. It's better to not just use Facebook, but if that's the only tool you have, you got to use it.
Yeah, and very effectively. Good for you.
Yeah, so I'm not at my computer, so you just let me know when you go to the next slide.
Okay.
I'll just get right into it if you want.
Mm-hmm.
So before you have your Facebook event, you kind of need to know how to navigate. Most of us are seasoned Facebook users, but some of us are not. So you need to plan your event. I'm a very go with the flow person, and one of my downlines, Angie, is not that way. And for the What the Heck is Shaklee event that I did the first time, she's like, so what's your plan? And I said, well, I was just going to kind of wing it. And she's like,
wing it plan.
I was like, I'm just going to post stuff. And she's like, and I could see her twitching. Like, we really need to plan this out. I'm like, okay. And so you have to have a plan, because if I would have wung it, it would not have been successful at all. So thank you, Angie Strumke.
Well, and let me just make another point about that, because we've had several people have told us that they do. I think Bonnie said that when she was on a couple weeks ago, is that, and it's some people, that's just how they have to navigate, because they don't have time, and that's how they live their lives. But one of the things we're always mindful of in our business is that this is a business that everything we do, we want to think about, is this able to duplicate? Is that duplicatable to do it that way? And one of the things that I'm really liking about Facebook events is once they're created, you can duplicate that all throughout your organization. So it was just another reminder about that. Well thought through there, Michelle. Good for you.
Well, it's more Angie, but
well, thank heavens for these Angies in our lives, right?
So before you have it, you need to think of what topic you want to focus on. So, for example, the What the Heck is Shaklee? That was just an overview of what Shaklee had, and we did that event over a course of, I think, 2 days. So we literally touched on everything that Shaklee had to offer. You can do, I just did a Shaklee 180 event, and that I called it Backed by Science, Not by Fad. And so we only focused on the Shaklee 180 weight loss program. And then, you can do a business opportunity. So be your own boss, or come up with another creative name. So you really can do any kind. I think I've seen one on the skincare line in February. It really just depends on what you want to focus on. It's really endless things you can think of. Next, you need to gather your materials. Go on Google. Google is your friend, and just search for different pictures, testimonies. You will really be surprised at what you can find. Even in your back office, you can search, and they'll pull up people's PWS sites with their testimonies on there that you can use. And then also, I always say include the science, because that's how we're different. We use the science in our products, and that's our whole basis of our business. And some of these other companies don't have that, or they don't have the right kind of science. So you need to make sure that you have that there to show as evidence. And then on your computer or your laptop, you can create a PowerPoint. I know Stephanie does this. That's just an easy way to label, to keep organized, or just have a file on your desktop that has all of these images and testimonies in one place, so it's easy for you to grab at the time of the event.
Very good.
Yes.
Are you being distracted by small people?
My boys are running around playing Army, so
Oh.
they're like they made paper cannonballs, and so they're I don't know what they're doing.
You're being assaulted.
Right
okay, got it.
Oh, so next up is actually creating your event. Once the hard work's out of the way, that's the next slide.
So
sorry.
click, Joe.
Okay, I just wanted to check. You create a Word document with your script that is going to have your postings, right?
Yes, and that makes it so much easier, especially if you have, some people do the 1 hour events. Those are fast. I mean, you're posting every 5 to 10 minutes while answering questions and comments. So it's really nice to have that script right in front of you so you can just copy, paste, plug it in so it's ready to go. That way you're not having to type everything up, what should I say now? It's just all right there for you.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. And to that point, Stephanie, by the way, are you there yet?
I'm here, yes.
Okay, go. You're a little faint at the moment, but okay. And then somehow Katie dropped off. I'm not sure what happened there. Is that this is why so many of you team up, and you do it with 2 to 3 leaders, and it's really helpful. So one can operate the posting, and the other can operate answering the questions and making the comments. I thought that was smart when you did that. Mm-hmm.
Most of my events, I partner up with someone. It just makes it a lot easier, and then you just know who's doing what, and you go with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of the success, I think, of these events are the energy. So if you have 2 or 3 leaders, you already kind of set the foundation for a little bit of energy and enthusiasm, and I think it's effective.
Yeah.
It's always nice to team up with somebody so that there can be a poster, somebody who's just in charge of the posting, and then somebody who is in charge of answering the questions. Perhaps if you forget something, we always are personal messaging each other. Hey, should I pick this up, or what should we do? Or do you have an image of this? So I think it's always a really good idea to find somebody to team up with. Otherwise, I think it's just too much for one person to handle at once.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you have a lot of interaction, which is one of the things, Stephanie, that I know is important to you, is you have worked out ways to invite people to interact more, and that's a sign of a good event. People that are involved in it. Very good. Okay, so Michelle, can you see what we have up now? Okay, good. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you are not really sure how to create an event, I'm going to walk you through those steps real quick. So it's super easy. It's not difficult. You'll need to have your Facebook homepage open. That's the main screen that you see when you log in. And then over on the left-hand side is that gray toolbar, and there's all the different pages and groups that you're a part of. And at the very top, it says events. All you need to do is click on that, and then this whole new page will come up. So at the very top toolbar, it'll say all invite, saved, hosting, and that's all the events that you've ever been invited to, that you've gone to, and then there's that little blue box on the right that says create. So
I love this. I love this. I understand everything you just said.
See, it's easy.
Yes, it is.
All right, next slide. Yep. Okay, so then once you click that, this big box is going to pop up, and it's not going to be filled in. That's your job. So you need to think of a creative name that tells your guests what you're going to be talking about, what they're going to be learning. Next is your details. Now, my details, that you don't want to put just, it's a great party to learn more about Shaklee. That's really boring. So try to make it exciting or just be more descriptive. I just did this for our PowerPoint. Then where, some people put, in your pajamas, on your couch, or at your home. I just put iPad, computer, phone, so people know they can hop on wherever they are. And then you'll need to select a date, and then it gives you the calendar, and then it has your time. And make sure you choose Eastern, Mountain Pacific, whichever time zone you're in. And then I always say there's that little blue end time question mark. Click on that. Because if you don't click on it, then your event will only last as long as you say, so for an hour. And then it kind of gets shuffled, and it's a little bit difficult for people to go back and find. So I always say to click on that end time and then leave it open for either a few days up to maybe even a week. That way you can follow up with people and you can still comment and go back through and see what questions people had. And it's easier for them to still see it if the event is still open. And then you need to look at your privacy, and this really depends on what kind of event you're doing. For the What the Heck is Shaklee, I made that a public event, and I kept it open until I think the first 10 minutes or so, and then I went and I changed the privacy on it just because it was getting too big. But for things like, say you're doing a business opportunity event and you only want, 10 guests to attend that you're inviting, then you can do an invite only. So it really just depends on your purpose for the event. Those are my kids. Oh, gosh. Okay, so does that all make sense?
Yeah. Very good. Sure does.
So then, once you have created your event, this is just a screenshot of the event that I just did the other day. So it was a 180 event. You see that pretty picture there? I did not create that. That is just a screenshot of the Shaklee website. So again, you can really find any picture. You don't have to have graphic design. You can just Google a lot of stuff, really. So I added that as my cover photo, so it looks really pretty when people come by, and you can see my description. Okay, so anyway, those are just the aesthetics of it. So if you choose your cover photo, next, if you look underneath the cover photo, it says hosting. So I'm the one that was hosting, that's why it says that. Next is this little invite button. So this is the button that you click if you want to invite people to your event. So you can, hold on, boys, go in the other room. I know you're playing with Truman.
Gotta love it.
This is so real. This is how this is how people chuck Shaklee businesses around their lives. I love it.
Go on, Truman. The boys want to chase you. Go, Bubba. My parents have a 100-pound chocolate lab, and he chases them. Go on. Go get the boys. Go.
Oh, perfect. Go babysit the boys for 20 minutes. Okay.
Oh, okay. So that's the invite button. That you can share anywhere. So you can share to your personal Facebook page. You can share it to groups. You can share it to your business pages. It's very easy to do. Next is the edit button. So if you see that you've done a typo or you wanted to add some extra stuff, you just click that button and you can edit all the good details of your event. And then those 3 little dots on the right, that is very important. That is how you can contact your guests. You can promote your event. You can copy the event and save it on your computer. And you can also export it. Well, copy event, you can recreate that event over and over again.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was there.
And then you can also export it. So these are all things, I mean, it is very simple. And you don't have to make it complicated.
Love this.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it's fabulous.
Good.
Okay, does that bring us to Stephanie? Good. So, oh my gosh, you're going to be you're like the best teachers, you kids. You're wonderful. So that brings us to Stephanie. And Stephanie, when did you actually do this event that I've been telling you I wanted to share with the group on Thursday mornings? It was what, a month ago now, maybe?
Yes. Yep, 1 month ago.
Right, and it was so amazing. Every time I talked to her, she said, I said, you had 50 people on this event. She said, well, actually, it was a little more than that. And then I'd say, and then because she kept seeing more people coming on and reading it. So tell us first about that event and what you did, and then take us through your tips for how we can make our events even more effective.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. Well, like Michelle, I created a Facebook event just like that. And I chose to do it on a topic that a lot of people I thought would be interested in, which was the cleaners. So I did an event called Are You Living in a Toxic Home? I did have it be an open invite so people could invite people. I thought, turn it down. And so we did have 87 people attend. It resulted in 3 Get Clean kits sold, so 3 new members, and we did have our highest OV month that month, or our highest TGB month that month. So that was really exciting. But yeah, it was just a really fun interactive event. Katie helped out with it with commenting and posting, as well as all of my team members. We are spread out all across the country, and so it's not very feasible for me to go do events in Chicago or Ohio and such. So we do these Facebook events, and it has resulted in great results for all of us. So it's been really beneficial.
So in January, when you had this big month, there were really 2 things that you focused on as your marketing strategies that month. One was this event, and then you invited a lot of folks to it, and then you followed up with it. And then the other was that 5-day detox, which was also very popular.
Yes. So the detox was kind of my main event.
Stephanie, excuse me. Stephanie, you're real faint. Can you are you on a phone or are you on your computer?
I'm on my phone. Is that any better?
Yeah, just make sure that you're speaking right into the phone.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're fine now. We can hear you now. Good.
Okay. Yes, for my newsletter, I had focused on the detox for a new year, new you. And then, but I also wanted to do a Facebook event that my team voted on. So I asked them what events they thought would be most intriguing to others based on customer interest. And so they said the cleaners were a huge topic that people were interested in. So I created a Facebook event and then opened it up for all of them to be able to invite their customers, potential customers, and friends too. And it took off. So
that's why we got such huge numbers. Excellent. Good. Okay. Click.
Okay, so I am just going to share with you some tips that I've found to be very successful for hosting a Facebook event. I do have a blog at gatheredinthekitchen.com, and I know a lot of people have visited it before from Shaklee and not because of Shaklee. I get some messages sometimes going, oh, I didn't realize that was your blog. I've seen you on Pinterest. But you can also follow me along at facebook.com/gatheredinthekitchen. I do get a lot of personal friend requests, and I do try to keep my own personal profile page pretty private, so I don't accept everybody's friend requests, and I'm sorry about that, but you can go to facebook.com/gatheredinthekitchen, and you can like away, and you'll see most everything that I do post about Shaklee anyway, just not all the pictures of my kids to bore you with. And then also, I have recently put on my blog free network marketing business training tools, and a lot of it is obviously geared towards helping Shaklee business owners. You can see down there at the bottom of the screen, there's a link right there, and obviously I know you can't click this, so if you have a pen, you could write it down really quick, or I'll also post it on my Facebook page for Gathered in the Kitchen. But you can register there. And I even created a video tutorial of how to set up the Facebook event. So just what Michelle said, but this is a video form, so you actually see it in live action of creating the Facebook event if you need it. So
great.
You will get a password from registering, and then it will be sent to your email, and then you just click on the post to view. So
thank you for doing that. Thanks.
Absolutely. Sure. Okay, so a lot of my tips are going to be kind of in line with what Michelle said as well, but these are what I came up with. Plan in advance, set your objectives, engage your participants, have closing comments, follow up is key, and then send out prizes. So I'll go into more detail about all of these. I'll let you flip this slide. Okay, so plan in advance. Like Michelle said, gather all your materials. Now, and some people don't plan in advance, but I like to give at least 2 weeks in advance so people have the ability to mark it on their calendars and then plan to attend it. I do send invitations, and I do send them to people individually with a personal note. And then 1 hour or so before, I make a cute little reminder, like this graphic right here, and I put on there like the time it's starting, and just a reminder to give to them. I feel that if you send somebody a graphic, they're much more likely to see it than just sending them a text message on Facebook, because it's all the same. You don't really add a whole bunch of color or anything. And just my brain being a very visual person, this is what I need. So I just pretend everybody else does it. So just being very open with them and inviting them personally. I would rather do than just post on my Facebook wall. Facebook event starting in 1 hour. I message all of the people who I specifically invited, as well as then all of the people who did click that they were attending or maybes.
So, Stephanie, when you say you make invitations and send them out with personal notes, how are you using snail mail or?
No, I do it on Facebook. Actually, I send a message. I create a little graphic, or I'll use the header graphic. Also have upload for your event. I will just send that in a message on Facebook with a message explaining what the event is and why I think they would be a perfect person to attend the event.
Okay.
What would pique their interest.
Yep, good.
Okay, so the next one. All right, then the next one is set your objectives. And I've put on here some examples, but I always like to tell people at the beginning what we're going to be learning about. It's kind of like in school when you would get the syllabus. You always wanted to know what was coming up ahead and how long you actually had to be there, what you were going to need to do to prepare. So this is also the time that I let people know that I'm going to have prizes for those who participate the most. A lot of people get invited. Their Facebook events are really huge right now, not just with Shaklee, but with every company out there. And so you want to stand out. You want to make them have a reason to attend your event. So I do offer prizes. It would be maybe a little a sample pack of the Shaklee 180 protein, or a couple MindWorks samples, something like that. That's not costing a lot of money, but I do send that out to get samples into the hands of people who really participated and seemed interested. So as you can see on the screen, I have my welcome message that I said to everybody for participating in the event. I'll just let you read it rather than me reading it to you. But then I also use a graphic to say that I'm going to have a reward system. So then, because a lot of the posts get posted, and so your phone or your computer is dinging a lot with notifications, so I like to make a graphic to go when there's a participation option for people to earn rewards, so they understand and can kind of differentiate between all the posts.
Excellent.
So the reward points postings are the ones you want people to comment on.
Right. And so going forward, I'll show you how I ask a question. But yes, that's exactly right. Okay, so this would go to engage your participants. Now, I've done it both with that image I showed before and then also with this question mark, so you kind of can pick and choose if you use a graphic. But I have a reader question every couple of slides just to make sure people are still there. Think about in class, you don't want to nod off, and you want to keep everybody engaged.
Clever.
So I explained to them that when you see this green question mark, there's a reader question. I'd like you to answer a question that I'm going to be asking to the group. And I am very serious that this has generated so much business. My events, that's why I have to have everybody else on, all of my distributors, and Katie has always joined as well, to answer questions, because it becomes so overwhelming of the participation that we need everybody there to help field questions and answer things. So a team event is really great for doing these. But okay, next one. All right, so closing comments. I always like to thank people for attending, and I also always introduce the business. I never close an event without giving them the opportunity to learn more about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So you can see there exactly a post that I had shared on one of the Facebook events that I had done for the cleaners. And then I also show these pictures. Because, like I said, I'm very visual, and I think real-life pictures of seeing me with a car or my son's eczema story is going to do a lot better than a stock photo of somebody nobody even knows with a car, you know. So that's just what I like to do. I like to really thank them, and I always think of it as if you go to Walmart, Walmart doesn't thank you for your purchases or for your time that you spent there. But I want to be different from them and show them that they will be treated much differently for shopping with me. So this is where I really hone in on that and show them why it's different and really show them that I appreciate them taking their time to join me. And then I also always post a picture of all my teammates because I do believe that if you see other people are doing it, you are going to be more likely to ask questions about, hey, how can I do that as well? If they only see one person doing it, it's a little more scary. And I say in my first month, in September, when I actually got my very first customer, because I had joined Shaklee in the spring, but was only a user of the products until September. And my customer decided to become a distributor. And in that month, 5 more people signed up to become a distributor. It was like a domino effect. People had been seeing what I had been posting, but nobody bid at it until they saw somebody else bite, and they all were like, oh, okay, it's not so scary or nerve-wracking. So they joined. And so I like to show that there's other people with me. It's not just me doing it.
It's the power of validation, and I think that you're so smart because what you're doing is you're creating not only a safe place, but a place where, you know, people that are kind of toying with the idea, they get that just a little bit of a bump, and I think that is a big deal. So good job, very good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll let you go ahead and flip the slide. And then follow-up. I am a strong believer in follow-up is key. And I have posted this, I made this graphic for my team just to be a reminder for them that you've already worked so hard to get that customer, you don't want to lose them. So thank them. I write thank you notes all the time. I think a thank you note goes a long way, especially if you send it in the mail. We only get bills in the mail nowadays. And junk mail. So seeing something exciting come through the mail does a lot for somebody. And I really do believe that this can make or break your business because if you follow up with your customers and your members, they're more likely to buy more products as well as refer people to you because they like the way that they're being treated. If you go to a restaurant and you have bad service, what do you normally do? You usually tell people don't go there. So I like to be the total opposite of a bad business and be exceptionally great so people do refer to me. And I do have a high reward program only because I feel that if they have to do a lot of things to get a reward from me, like refer 3 people and then you finally get a $10 product or something like that, I think that's way too much. I offer a $25 product, suggested retail price, up to $25 for every referral they send me because that person who they referred may end up becoming a customer for 5 years, 10 years. They also may become a distributor and so forth. So I always like to reward my people for referring to me. And that's all through follow-up. So follow up with your people from the Facebook event as well as with your customers in general. So.
Stephanie, I'm sorry. I think I might have missed something. What is it that you send in the mail?
Thank you notes.
Okay.
Thank you notes, as well as I always print off information, especially if they're a first-time customer. I print off information for the products that they purchase, so then if they have any other questions, then that it can be answered that way. And I also send my referral program in that thank you as well.
Stephanie, I was just checking. There's some questions that were coming in that people had. People are loving this, by the way, and I'm getting many comments saying how they're loving the dogs and the kids. They just think that's authentic, they're asking, when you set up this event, are you setting it up off of your personal Facebook page or your business page? That's come up several times.
Personal, yes, your personal page. And yeah, like I said at the beginning, I did that video tutorial, and it shows exactly what Michelle said, just in live form. So if that would be helpful for people, it would show exactly what you need. But I'm logged in as my own personal self. I actually don't know if Michelle, you might want to comment on this. I don't know if you can host an event from your business page. I feel like you can't, but I might be wrong because I've never done it that way. I've only just ever.
I don't think you can.
Okay.
And there's no reason to. You've got it from your personal page. And the other people are wanting to understand, both for you and Michelle, that when you talked about, I think, Michelle, when you were showing them the mechanics about how long the Facebook event is, quote, open, they're not understanding that. Would you explain that a little bit more? Because that keys into Stephanie's and her follow-up. So, Michelle, you want to explain that about how long it's open? What does that mean?
When you create an event, think of it just like an online in-home party. And so you can have the party going on for 5 days, or you can have it going on for an hour. So what happens is you only create it for an hour, then that event then gets put into your past events, and it's not shown on all your events are shown on the home page of your Facebook when you log in. It's on the right side. And so if it is a past event, it no longer shows up on that home page. So you would have to then go search for it.
So all of the dialogue, all the postings, all the comments, all of that interaction will live on your Facebook page as long as you want it to live there. And that's what that what did it call? End party or end event? Right. End time. That's what that was about. So if you want people to be able to come and see it, you're doing one today, but you want them to be able to come and see it, this weekend when they have more time and they get to Facebook or whatever, it's still living there.
Well, it's just easier access. So if you leave it open for a week, it'll show up on their home page on the top right. I think it's the right-hand navigation bar. It'll stay there for that week. So it's just easier for them to click. Where
nice.
If it's not on there anymore, they then have to go to the left hand, they have to click on the events, and they have to click on the past events, and they have to scroll through all the events they've gone through. It's easier.
It's very nice. Okay. And then I think this was for you, Stephanie, but when you talk about advertising it beforehand, where is that happening? On your personal Facebook page? In fact, I think, Joe, every week people have had difficulty distinguishing between what goes on Facebook personal page and what goes on Facebook business page, if you have a business page at all. So this might be a good time to discuss that so that they understand the distinction.
Sure. Well, I personally do the event on my personal page, and I invite people. I advertise through messages. I don't publicize it on my wall, so where I would write a post. I really don't do that just because I don't want to be overwhelming to people. That's where I feel actual good invitation is best. And maybe other people have other success stories with that, but that's just how I do it. My business page is a little different from others because I had a blog. I've had my blog for years before I ever started in Shaklee, and so my business page I just have tied in with Shaklee and post about Shaklee from time to time. But again, it's nothing that's overly Shaklee. But with that said, I think that the majority of the people who like your business page, you are going to be friends with them in general. So it would be better and safe to say that you could just do all of your invitations through your personal page, and then also you could post something on your business page. Does that make sense at all? I mean, because I don't think many people have, and maybe I'm wrong, but like for my instance, like my blog, I don't know most people like my blog, so I don't have a real good way to connect with them. So I connect with the people who I do have relationships with and get them interested in Shackley versus going out and just finding random people.
So when you say you do a personal invitation, are you going to individual people's pages? And
I go to their name, and then I go to their page. Sure, that's fine. You can go to their page, which will be the easy way, and click message. And then I just type out my message to them and then press send. So you can do it that way. Or then also on the right-hand side, you'll see a list of people's names that will always show up, and there'll be a green dot sometimes that says they're on web or mobile. You can just click their name that way, and that will take you directly to a message link for them.
Okay.
That's nice. I like that. That's why you get such a good turnout. Let's go to the next slide about prizes, and then there's some questions around that. Yeah, go ahead.
While we're still kind of on the discussion about business page, personal page, some people have raised the concern that they'll say, well, I thought we couldn't post Shackley stuff on our personal page.
Well, there's no rules. It's
Right.
more of an etiquette thing. And that's where, in the last couple of weeks we talked the 80-20. You just want to make sure on your personal page you're not constantly slamming everyone you know with business stuff, because you don't want them to feel like you're just a constant advertisement for Shackley. So I think it's a tactful, and I know these girls are both so good at it, but there's just a tactful, intuitive thing. But I don't think there's there's no rules. I mean, you can share whatever you want about Shackley on your personal page.
It's just consequences are they will unfriend you.
There you go. That would be the harsh reality. That's right.
And you know what? That's a good lesson for us, because anytime we are pitching,
yes,
and giving somebody a sales pitch rather than listening, responding to needs, sharing our lives, sharing our stories, it's a whole different.
It doesn't matter the medium you're using.
Exactly right. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. Very good. Good. Nice.
I have one more question on this. The follow-up. You said that you sent out a personal handwritten thank you. How do you know where to send that? How do you get all these addresses?
Well, if they were the winner from one of the prizes, I would get their address that way, obviously. And that's mostly from my customers, who I obviously have their address for. If they're not, though, I send them a message on Facebook, though, thanking them. I always do that, just because I don't want people to, and I always say, did you have any additional questions that, didn't get answered in the event, stuff like that. It's just a great way to just not let it leave the event ended and walk away. So.
Okay. Perfect.
Now that's brilliant. That's brilliant, because it's another touch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Right. I like that very much. Very good. Thanks. You ask really good questions, Joe.
I'm showing my ignorance, aren't I?
Now, regarding these prizes, tell us about that, and then there are a couple of questions coming in about that.
Sure. Okay. So all I do, and sometimes I don't, I'll just be honest, I see whose name is mostly popping up or commenting the most. But if there's a good tie between people, I just tally them up. So every time somebody made a comment on one of the posts, they get 1 point. And I've had it where I've had several people be very interactive, so I've just sent them all prizes, because it was only costing me a couple extra dollars, and the potential of that turning into a better business is really high. So you can take a picture of your prizes like I did here and let them choose which one they would like. And then I also mail it in a timely manner, just because if somebody wins something today, they don't want to wait 7 weeks before they get it. So I make sure I mail it within like 2 to 3 days at tops.
Nice.
And you can see right there a post that I did post in one of the book events of how they won their prizes. And that one, I was bad. I didn't post it until the next day for the prizes. So.
Nice.
Yes.
I love that's. I'm thinking about. I think the first Facebook events that we reported were Angie Thomas, and she had done that with her business partner Christy. And I remember when they were doing the invitations, building up to the event, there was a picture that Christy took of her two kids on the floor, and the caption said, "You probably are having difficulty taking your eyes off my two adorable children to see my gleaming floors that I washed with non-toxic basic aids." I mean,
yes.
was so clever. I mean, you kids come up with the greatest ideas.
Well, and I just want to jump in because I think that's such an important part, Barb, is the creativity, but the genuine and the realness. It's not, we're not being like, kind of sterile. It's being just real open and honest. And I did an event in December. I knew I was going to do it, so I kept watching for snowman jokes to come through Facebook, and I started saving them all. So through the whole event, I just kept throwing up snowman jokes. I don't create.
Huge.
I don't create a thing.
Colorado humor, that's all. Yeah.
But if you keep your eye open for the cute things, the cute engaging things coming down the pike through Facebook, just tuck them away and create your fun factor through the things that are already happening out there. And that's what these girls are doing. They're just being themselves. Their personalities show through, and that's what attracts people to them and to
fun. If you can't make if you're not smiling and enjoying this as you go along, then one of the things, Stephanie, you have said to me repeatedly is we have to make sure this is not boring or they're gone.
Yes.
Mhm.
There's a CSI episode going on somewhere behind them that we got to be more exciting than that,
Right.
Okay, good. All right.
I always like to say we live in a digital world, and things change in the drop of a hat. And so so many times myself I've received a message and I reply that moment, I totally forgot to come back to it because the screen changes, everything changes, and you get busy. And so you do have to keep them engaged. I believe like the first 7 minutes or something is when you can make or break somebody to be engaged. I think I remember that from like a psychology class back in the day, and maybe I'm wrong, but I like to go by that. So try to make them, that's why I do the thing at the beginning of introduce the objectives and then tell them what they're going to get, a prize if they participate. So get them excited.
The prize idea is really smart. It's really smart. And Mara was asking about the correlation between those who participate a lot and purchases. Do you find that they're more likely to be interested in purchasing product?
Mm-hmm. Every time I've hosted one. Now, usually my events are smaller scale. I don't have 87 people attending. That was kind of a different scenario where we opened it up to a lot of other Shaklee people. But I like to keep them smaller scaled because they become more personalized that way. And yes, every single time I've hosted a Facebook event, I've either gotten a member or a distributor, and most of the time both. Actually, with all of them, I've gotten a member and a distributor out of all of the events I've ever done. So,
jeez,
I do see a correlation
really
there.
Yes, that's a correlation. Absolutely. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So, all right. So let's go back to your slide here.
All right. Additional tips?
Additional tips. Katie. Okay, there you are.
Katie.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, Michelle and Stephanie pretty much summarized everything so wonderfully for us, but so I'll just kind of piggyback what they said. Thank you. That was awesome. I think they did a wonderful job.
Mm-hmm.
I love how Stephanie said it's very important to do a personal invite, and I definitely find the same results that when I personally invite people, whether I'm just chatting with them in person, hey, our team's hosting an event. I know that you were talking the other day about how you were concerned with Candida, if you want to hop on, or hey, people are talking about dry skin right now, or they wish that their skin looks better. Always knowing, it's important to know what your team is doing. And Harper and I and Stephanie, and Michelle, we all try and really make sure that our team knows all that's going on because there's so much now in the digital world. We have Facebook events happening, we have conference calls happening, we have webinars happening, we have local events happening. We have all these different things. So as a leader, what's really nice is to make sure to let your team know, hey, this is what is happening this week. So I will, Harper will send an email out, and I'll forward that on that says this is what our week is. On Monday night, you have the opportunity to invite them to Power of Our Profession for teachers. On Tuesday, you have this. So give them an idea of what they can be inviting people to, because you'll be amazed how many times you start having a conversation with somebody about allergies, and all of a sudden you realize, oh yeah, I just read in that email that we're doing a webinar on allergies, and I want to invite them. So make sure to get plugged in and to know what's going on with your team for the week so that you know what to invite people to. And then always have a working folder. And this folder is going to grow, and it's going to change, and it's going to look messy, at least mine does, because it's constantly evolving. But what I mean by working folder is your list of names of people that you think could be interested in Shaklee, that could be potential business partners, that perhaps has messaged you on Facebook saying, hey, can you send me some information on children's vitamins? You follow up with them, and perhaps they just didn't order that one time. Did you know that Moira posted on our team page yesterday that the average sale takes between, and I hope I'm saying this right, I think it was like 5 or 6 to 12 contacts, meaning it's very rare to speak to somebody the first, second, third, fourth time. I think it's a very small percentage, and actually get a sale right away. And I have found that to be so true in my business. And what I love about Facebook events is I have found that that is a great not last, but it's just another way of contacting people and educating them on Shaklee. So I might have been having some conversations here and there with them. I might have even called them on the phone and talked to them. But then this was an opportunity for them to just sit down. The kids are in bed. They're looking on their phones, and they're reading, and they're seeing, wow, I didn't realize that a lot of vitamins didn't dissolve or get absorbed in your body. Wow, I didn't realize that a lot of vitamins, what they have on the label, doesn't actually match what's in them. And so Facebook is a great education opportunity. But what I have found to be the most successful, and Stephanie really hit on this too, follow-up is so key. Pretty rare to just have a Facebook event and then have somebody go and order right away. Typically, it takes some follow-up. It takes setting up a phone call, seeing when you can chat with them, getting together in person to go over those details. And I have found that when I have done that, I have had the most success, definitely, when I have followed up with them from a Facebook event. And then I think Michelle talked about this, pay attention to questions during the event so you can follow up with them and offer additional information. I always think it's really important to have a pen and paper next to you and just write down, hey, did you see that they asked about anything that we have for sleep? Although this is on skincare, let's make sure that we follow up on it with them, because we've had that happen where people have said,
oh, sure.
Do you have any recommendations for sleep or something, and it's a skincare event. And that's fine. We love that. But we just know we have to follow up with them and then get them the information on how to sleep better. And then also what's really nice when you're following up with people is a health assistant form. And as Stephanie talked about, a packet of samples is a nice mailing after somebody places an initial order. And these prizes, they don't need to be super expensive. We're not talking about giving away a box of Vitalizer, although that would be incredible, and if your budget allows, go for it. But we do energizing tea in little packets of performance that we make. You can get little containers at Target and put performance in it, and then print out a label from Shaklee and talk. I have a great label that Barb can send everyone that talks about mixing the two and how it's a great hydration energy drink. That probably costs around $1 or $2, maybe not even. Basic age sample, that is one of the absolute best things you can send people. I can't tell you how many people have started the business after trying the basic age. It's just a great sample. And you can get a whole bundle of those for, I think, around like $20 or something from Shaklee. So they break down to not costing too much. A lot of you received the protein samples from the promotion last month. Send a protein sample and ask if you can follow up with them about what you thought of it. And that's the key. You don't want to just be handing out samples left and right without some sort of agreement of filling out a survey, or perhaps would you mind answering these 3 questions once you've tried the smoothie, type of a thing. Because I have had, and you have to be careful, I've had some people take advantage of just wanting a bunch of samples from me and then not ordering, and we don't want that because, obviously we're all in the business for a reason. So, and then some action steps for our Facebook event would be to begin planning your Facebook events. I love doing grand openings. Those are my favorite Facebook events because a lot of my people, as Michelle said, they don't live locally. And so this is a great way where people can invite everybody. Also, if you're up north, nobody wants to be going out right now. It's hard to get out of the house. It's freezing. Although I will say the weather is turning a corner tomorrow, so more people will be getting out and it will be easier to go to different things. But begin thinking of your Facebook event. Select a topic. When you're not sure what topic to do, think about what concerns people the most. I will tell you that immunity is still a huge issue. A lot of people have been sick the entire winter. They have been dealing with illnesses, and they are just tired of being sick. The 180, that's another one. Spring is coming, allergy season, skincare. A lot of people have dry skin, eczema, all these different issues. So think through what your friends and family would be interested in, and then go for a topic. How will you invite? Think about how you'll invite. You can do a PowerPoint presentation to make some of those, or a Word document. And as Michelle said, a lot of the images I get, I just Google, or I just take my own image. And then if you look at last week's webinar that we did on Facebook events, I talked about some apps you can do to make things look creative and grab your attention. Choose some incentives and raffle prizes, and remember, you can be so creative without spending a lot of money. The basic H sample, like we talked about, and the T and the performance and the protein, all those make great prizes. And then, as we think through, we are so excited for the new trip qualifications.
Yay!
And about thinking about how, once you've been on a Shaklee trip, everybody says you never want to miss one. And I totally agree, because they spoil you, and it's the absolute best time of your life. And our family still talks about it to this day. And we are so excited to start planning again for the new trip year. But you have to plan. That is so key. You have to actually run the numbers. So if you need to get 325 points, call your upline and schedule a strategy session where you can figure out how to get all those points. I had many conversations with my upline about how to get my points. And sometimes you have to change things, like Lisa said this before. Sometimes your month doesn't maybe go as planned, and that's okay. Then you redo the points. And Barb, did you want me to talk about the trips, or are you gonna?
Yeah, click.
Okay.
Ta-da! Woohoo!
So we are going to Cabo. And I said we are because we have to be positive. And we have to start telling ourselves.
All 267 of us this morning are going, okay.
Because Shaklee has made some wonderful changes, and you can view all of those on your Member Center, and they also have the webinar recorded from Monday night. You'll want to listen in on that. All the wonderful ways that Shaklee has made it even more possible now to qualify. And we have almost an entire year now to plan for this. So this trip will be in Mexico. It's all-inclusive. It's kid-friendly. My understanding is that Shaklee has bought out almost all the rooms, so it will be almost entirely Shaklee people, which is great because it's like going on vacation with your family. It's beautiful, right on the ocean. You can see there in Cabo they have almost every single day there is sunny. 350 to 360 days a year are sunny. And then we have the big trip to Italy. Italy, going to Rome. You're going to be able to stay in a castle for a few days. Oh, I can't even imagine what this trip will be like. And so this trip will be in June, and to qualify for that, you need 1,000 points. So start your strategy meeting, start your strategy sessions with your upline, begin planning, and you will be amazed at how you'll be able to get there.
Mm-hmm. This is really very good. Just a couple, you know what? You all are such stars. I just love you all. several questions, Stephanie, about you. You mentioned your referral program. You want to talk about that a little bit? A couple of folks are asking about what that looks like.
Sure. Now, this is just for the people who are members already, but I do have a pretty high referral program, like I said. If they refer somebody to me, I have a $25 suggested retail price product referral. So I will buy a product up to $25 suggested retail and give it to them. The reason I do that is I have a lot of reasons. One, it's adding PV to my own personal volume. Rather than paying for shipping, which doesn't do me any good because they may not order anything extra, so it doesn't add any PV to me. Two, it gets them interested in another product that maybe they didn't want to buy themselves. And then three, like I had mentioned before, was I like to have the stakes be low because it's not a lot of risk for me. I'm still benefiting from it. But if I make it be, like I had said, 3 people refer 3 customers to me who place an order and then you get a $10 gift card to Shaklee, something like that, the likelihood of them doing that is so slim, I believe. You want instant rewards. If I refer somebody to a website online, usually you'll get a 10% coupon or something like that right away. You don't have to refer 15 million people to get a reward. So I like to go above and beyond others, and that's just kind of what I've always done with things. Like I said, you get a coupon from somebody else, but I want to give them the best deal possible. So they come to me. They see that I have the best rewards. Why not go to Stephanie? So, does that help at all?
Yeah, it's excellent, dear. Okay, all right, Joe. Any other questions you want to? I'm trying to grab them as fast as I can
I don't
here.
know what's there.
So I got the. You know what else? Some of you who are just joining us today, for the last, this is the third of our series on Facebook, and the last 2 weeks, we've also discussed other aspects. Bonnie Donahue and Harper, I think, joined us that first week. They did some wonderful materials for us. So you have, and all of those, they're archived at bobsfiles.net, but what I'm noticing is they get archived faster if you go to the betterfuturestartstoday.com, which is the adjunct website that's connected to BetterHealth and 31days.com. Poor Chris, he says you garble it every time. BetterHealth and 31days.com, which is where we archive all of our nutrition webinars on Monday nights, and now even the power of our profession. Who just told me? Angie Thomas told me that yesterday that she sent a teacher, a friend of hers, to the webinar that Katie and Joe did on the power of our profession for teachers, and she joined and is now building a business.
Yay,
really, really
good.
Great. Those are nice sessions, but anyway, so Chris then set up an adjunct website to that has all our business material in it. So these not only get posted there quickly, but they have podcasts in there. So it's betterfuturestartstoday.com. And if you don't have a subscription to that, you can get that yourself, and then the web people set that all up with your picture, and people do learn and earn programs around that. But you also can team up with somebody, to go there and help share that cost. It's just then it can just be a few dollars a month, and it gives you access to all of that stuff. So that's a good place for it. So I know some of you are asking for these slides as well, and we give you everything. It's just as soon as our web guy can get it up there.
There are a couple of questions here, Barb, that I think are good. It says, as you are doing a Facebook event, do all your postings post to your feed so anyone can see, or only people who have accepted?
Only people who have accepted.
Okay, so will it be on your timeline after the event, or is it in the background on Facebook?
No, unless you choose to not have it be private, but
if it's public, everybody that you've invited So there could be up to 1,000 people that have been invited. If it's public, even if they did not agree to come, it will still show up on their news feed. So what I recommend, and it's totally up to you, but what I recommend is making it, inviting a lot of people, but then when the actual event comes around,
making it private, yeah.
Yeah, and just I mean, I think every once in a while it's fine to do a public one because you do want people to know, but if people are constantly getting newsfeed after newsfeed after newsfeed of a Shaklee event with the amount of events that our team does, you just want to be careful. So you can always make it public and then change it to private.
Okay, so then that explains also why, because the question is always raised about people saying either, what did they say here, about posting. Facebook is unhappy if you're using your personal page for business purposes. That's why they built the business page. But it's not a public thing. You're making it private. Right?
Yeah, and I'm a little confused about that because everybody uses their personal page. I mean, I have friends that are in other businesses and they all promote their business on their personal page. So I don't think it's necessarily, I mean, unless I'm wrong, Lisa, I don't think it's a Facebook rule.
I don't think it's a Facebook rule or a Shaklee rule. I think it's just a cultural, thoughtful etiquette rule. Yeah, exactly.
Someone is saying that they thought you could end up in Facebook jail, being locked
out.
Are you there?
I have seen stuff about that, but sorry, Katie. Just real quick, I'll make one really quick point. With the business pages, there's been a lot of changes with Facebook, and Facebook doesn't really have a way to make money, so now they charge business pages to have your post be seen to other people. So even though somebody likes your Facebook business page, that does not mean that they're going to have what you post show up on their news feed. You'll probably see on your business page, you can say boost now and pay money to have it seen by more people and everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to make that little point of, if you think you're posting everything on your business page, you might want to still follow up with people. So only point there. There you go.
Very good, thanks. And Catherine, thanks. She said that subscriptions for the Better Health in 31 Days are closed, and the wait list button doesn't link through. But they will accept your subscriptions. They can only do it several times a month, so you may have to wait a week or so to get subscribed there. But I made a note of what she just said. So Chris, she said that the wait list button doesn't link through. So we'll get that fixed for you. Thank you for your questions are fantastic, and thank you all you moms with all of the chaos going. These people have multiple children, and so they're little teeny guys. Thank you for this material is so excellent. This is really the future. This is what we need to understand because it's been so effective and you teach it so well. We want to close by showing you the upcoming sessions that we'll be doing. We mentioned it earlier. Next week is going to be talking about tax advantages. Alan Cherapan will join us. He is great at that. He'll update one that he did 2 years ago, and that's really great. And then the following week we'll do the planning, and then we'll be talking about in-homes. And then here are the Monday night wellness webinars. And we haven't decided what the power of our profession is going to be this month, but stay tuned. We'll get that to you. And then I just want to close with, every week we've been doing kind of a Facebook post of the week, and there were 2 this week that I just thought were really exceptional. I just want to, the next one was one, Stephanie, actually, that I found from your Facebook post to your group, and I just thought it was so great. And you said, if you want to click, Joe, I think I brought it up there. It says, a good friend of mine, not in Shaklee, so Sarah Robbins posted these individual pictures of their Facebook wall this morning. Do you see it? Oh, didn't I put it in there?
Oops.
All right. your version doesn't have it for some reason, but I'll just read it to them then. And she said, we all have things that make us afraid. We all have goals that we're not sure how to reach. We're all afraid of actually stepping out there and doing what it is we love. I'm not just talking Shaklee here. I'm talking life in general. My goal for our group is not to be the highest selling team or to have the largest team. Rather, my ultimate goal for our team is to help each and every single one of us become the best you that you can be. I want us to become better friends, wives, moms, listeners, influencers. I want us to achieve goals that we thought weren't possible. So, there it is. Mm-hmm. Oh, how'd you find it? I put it in the wrong place. Okay, so, and then she ends by, I want us to help our families out in ways that we never would have dreamed. I want our lives fulfilled and to spread that to others. This whole journey is not about Shaklee per se. It's about coming together and building a support group of amazing friends. Let us be the group of friends that gets it. Great post, Stephanie. Thank you for that. And the other one we'll bump to next week so they can see it then. There's another beautiful one that Harper wrote also. So,
okay.
Thanks everybody. Great session today. And Joe, we'll just make a note of the other question. I hope we got.
I'll download them and.
I hope we got most of your questions. We tried to get them as we were going along. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Good job, everybody. Bye.
Bye.